Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever time of day it is. Why am I doing this video today? You're looking at all the candidates that are running. I've listened to them. I've listened to how they talk. And I'm very scared. But then there's hope at the end of the tunnel because there's me. What makes me different? Well, if you go to my Facebook, you'll see why I'm different. I'm never politically correct. So therefore, saying statements that are not fully truthful is not my nature. Sometimes I can be as stubborn and bullheaded as one of your candidates. Other times as sly and subtle as others. But the most important thing is I can be truthful to a fault. I heard that the first time when I was a young man. It was a gas station where a person robbed it and left. So I had to take a lie detector test because they wanted to know, did I have anything to do with it? I took the lie detector test, and the individual said that gave the test, he was and is too truthful, too honest for his own very good. And I didn't, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So, when you hear me say, I promise, I use the word promise very sparingly. And you hear it all the time from me, but it's only on three things. I promise to bring your word, your voice to Washington, D.C. I promise to make Congress start realizing they are to serve the American people, not the people to serve them. And I promise to bring leadership to Washington, D.C. Those are the only things I say promise with. Then I say everything else we together can fix. And we can. But really, what kind of candidate do I make? I'm poor. I don't have millions of dollars. I'm trying to raise up a group, but none of you want to get involved. Some of you say, oh, I'll do it. And then all of a sudden, you don't want to get involved. I'm trying to raise signatures. You all have to do the signatures. I can't. Just think about it. In each and every state, I need 5,000 signatures sent to your state election board. It could be on one piece of paper saying, I support James Dennis Crowell as my presidential candidate for 2016. That's all that's needed to be there, and your signature. And of course your address. And you send it directly to them. I'd love for about 1 million of you, or 8 million that wrote me in, or you out there who agree and feel that we can do the job. I'd love for you all to send individual signatures to your state election board. Imagine the quagmire we would create by doing that. That would be an indication to the political systems in Washington, D.C., they're about ready to receive a revolution like they have never seen. One that will put the government where it should be. I talked with someone this morning who checked me out, and she said, I went to your website, which was the Constitutionist Party. And I said, to be a member, all you have to do is believe in our Constitution. Know what our Constitution says. You read it. Don't read a book about it. Don't read somebody else's interpretation, because it was written for. You read it and understand. Let me give you one example. Freedom of speech. It's in the First Amendment. After freedom of religion, after freedom of the press, you have the freedom of speech. Do you know a young man from, let's say, South Carolina who holds up a Confederate flag that is defended by the Constitution just as much as a young man in New York City holds up a Filipino flag, or someone in Miami holds up a Cuban flag, or someone in the middle of Texas holds up a Mexican flag? All those individuals are protected to be able to hold up those flags, as well as the most important flag, the American flag. They have that right because they are doing an expression of themselves. Every single one of those flags are expressions of their heritage, not of hatred, not of bigotry, not of murder, not of enslavement, but pure heritage. And they are proud of their heritage, which they should rightfully be. And it must be also defended. Nobody thought of it that way, because we let the special interest groups. Oh, I find the flag offensive because it meant slavery. Slavery to who alive today? You want to talk about slavery? Look at the sex trade in this country. There's a lot of young women that get trapped into that. That's slavery. It still exists. Our government can't do nothing about it. They turn their heads sometimes they don't. It's really a local community problem, and that needs to be solved at the local community area. But how many people from throughout the world find themselves trapped into that trap? How many young girls who run away from home find themselves trapped in that trap? So don't say the Confederate flag means slavery. Hold up the American flag, and under it, draped, covered, is slavery today. But that ain't the only problems we have in our country. Our government is doing everything it can to keep the people separate. But we are one people of many different cultures and many different heritage. And when we learn to accept each other, we will then grow as a nation. We must all understand we are Americans. From the time we're born inside this country to the time we die. I don't care who your parents are. I don't care what your heritage is. We are Americans. And this must be understood by all of us, first and foremost. And then we can fix our nation. Now, I know that's radical. That's a very, very radical idea. Unfortunately, I'm a true believer in the Constitution, and that's part of the Constitution. We all. But what about the other things? The other problems? Like the rest of the world running this country? No. Like Congress believing that they have an open invitation to your wallet or your pocketbook to raise taxes as they see fit, to spend more money as they see fit, so they can wage war around the world if they see fit. And then they don't wage war, they just waste money. To wage war is what we did in World War II. That's war. You ain't going to do that. You're playing games. Now, medical is almost on the right track. Could be, but it's not there yet. For that, we need more in-depth involvement of the government to the getting of medical for everybody. One example I have is that all VA hospitals will be placed under the Department of the Army, and they will function as an Army medical facility, active duty. May be manned by civilians, might be manned by, but there will be Army in charge. Used to be that way in this country. Army was in charge of a lot of medical. If the closest facilities for the VA is Navy, then it will be Navy. But it's going to be a joint military effort to see that each and every veteran that served gets remembered when they depart from active duty service. For their medical is active duty going on. Now, taxation, it needs to be adjusted. It needs to be fixed. Like I said, Congress seems to think they have a free hand into your wallet or pocketbook. No, that needs to be fixed. Every single adult in this country must pay taxes. I don't like it any more than you. But how is it done? And is every single adult? Let's see. Does the quote unquote 11 million illegal aliens pay taxes? No. Do the legal immigrants, new ones, pay taxes? Sometimes no. They're tax deferred. Companies that claim to be charities that are not really charities, do they pay taxes? No. So, what can we do to fix the problem? You notice I didn't say what can we do? Here's one idea. This doesn't mean it's the only. Just one idea. A sales tax. Straightforward, across the board sales tax. Nothing exempt, nothing this, nothing that. Just a straight sales tax. Then, once a quarter or once a third of a year, a check will be issued to each and every family or individual, depending on the number of people, to the amount of the check for the items they pay taxes on. It could be anywhere from $900 to $3,000. I don't know. But the beauty of it is the government has to know where you are. Will an illegal alien tell us where they are? No, because if they do, we will go with the check, pick them up, take them to the airport, cash the check, pay for the ticket, give them the money remaining, and put them on a plane home. Whereas if they don't tell us, they don't receive their check. We will ensure that if a check is not cashed within 30 days of date of issuance, it is null and void and the funds are no longer available. That means if an illegal alien comes forward and says, I'm not getting my check, we'll give him his check and send him on our way home. If he doesn't say nothing, 30 days later, he paid more in taxes than you. That will eliminate a lot of the problems with quote-unquote illegal aliens. See, two of the biggest complaints I find with illegal aliens is one, they don't pay taxes, and two, everybody's hiring them because they are hard, good workers. The people who hire them because they don't have to pay taxes, they're cheaper than the people. But if we've done the sales tax, there'd be no income tax, there'd be no social security tax, there'd be no any of those taxes. When your paycheck says you made $958, and the beginning of that top line, at the end of the top line, and the check down below say $968, not $432. So people, that's just one. And what about foreign affairs? Foreign affairs, we are so involved in every country, it is ridiculous. Why do we try to set up governments when the people don't want them? Why are we trying to make them into something they cannot even understand yet? Why don't we let the people of the nation choose how they shall be ruled, how they shall be governed, and how they shall live? Instead of us going in there, putting our big foot in, messing everything up, tearing it all down, and destroying all that they had. In other words, when it comes to foreign affairs, the United States government should be to assist nations that wish to be governed and how they wish to be governed, and they shall be governed. Whether we agree or disagree with what they decide, we, as Americans, must accept it. I know that's hard because a lot of you say, "Oh, they really don't know what they want." They know what they want. They know how they live. You don't know how they live. You keep taking our standards for our society and trying to apply it to other people. No, it don't work. We are different. Therefore, our standards are extremely radical to them, the other nations, just as much as their standards is extremely radical to us. Now, what else you want to talk about? But here's the important thing. I need you all to go and get signatures and send them. I would prefer that each and every one of you just wrote a piece of paper and send it straight in. Find out what needs to be on that paper and send it straight in. Swamp your electoral board. Put me on every single ballot in the United States. Here's the way to do it. James D. Cravo, open parentheses, J.D., close parentheses, J.D. Cravo, James Dennis Cravo. You list them all. That's me. And then when people come to vote, if they can't remember James Dennis Cravo, they can remember J.D. and write it in. And it would still be mine. No, I'll be getting it from two directions, J.D. and on the ballot. But it's you, the people, that have to do this. It's you, the people, that have to understand. The political parties are what they are. George Washington said it is for the unscrupulous, it's for the ill-mannered, it is for the unqualified to rise to the top and take over positions of higher ranking government. Not for the people of honor, not for the people of knowledge, not for the fully qualified. And what is the qualifications for a president? You go find a book, find it for me. Other than what's listed in the Constitution, you have to make that decision. Am I qualified? Well, if you go Facebook, you see a lot of things that I've done through my life. Military career, civilian, you name it, I've been involved in it. Charities, you don't find nothing listed because I do charities for myself and the charity. I was a scoutmaster. I was a unit commissioner. I read in schools. I worked with Little Leagues. I've worked with communities. I helped raise food to feed the poor. I haven't yet worked in a kitchen, I don't think. Oh no, yes I did. And I worked with church organizations. I am a second degree Knight of Columbus. Could have been a third degree, but I just didn't feel like I was ready yet. So, you got to look around and say, hey, look at what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this rambunctious individual that doesn't even understand the Constitution and says he's going to do this and do that and do this and do that, to the point of where he totally ignores the Constitution. Then you have another person who doesn't believe the Constitution was written for her. She believes it was written for everybody else, and she's going to do what she wants, and they all come along for the ride. Now those are the two extremes, and then we got all these people in the middle, but they all work for one organization, the political party system. Are they truthful? Are they honest? That's not for me to judge. But do you want the political party system to continue to control our government? That's your choice. So again, people, I am going to tell you this. I need you to help. Notice I didn't say I need you to raise any money. Really, all we have to do is get my name into each of your electoral boards from each of your states, saying that I want J.D., James Dennis Cravo, to be a candidate in this state for President of the United States in the 2016 election. And I would love for them to get it all out by one envelope at a time with one signature and address. Oh, that would make me so happy. Now, there's going to be things, if you go through all my videos, that you're going to disagree with me on. And I do hope there is, because we need to discuss it. If I ever do raise money and we do go campaigning, my campaign meetings are not going to be me telling you what I'm going to do. It's going to be you giving me guidance on what I need to do. Because my first promise is to bring your voice to Washington, D.C. And my second promise is to ensure that Congress starts serving the American people and understand that the American people, you are the masters of our federal government, not the servants. So, people, I made this video for you just to talk a little bit. It's up to you, not me. Are you going to make the same mistake you've made 2008, 2012 and wait till June and then everything's too late? Or are you going to do it now? Now is when you need to say something needs to be done. Now is when you need to say we need difference. Now is when you need to do something. Even if it's just write one letter to your electoral board and say, I want James D. Crivo to be a candidate and have a ballot in the 2016 presidential election. That'll be the first step to a revolution that will be of unimaginable wonders. I gotta say wonders, because things are going to change, and they're going to change radically to what the Constitution says they should be. And if you want to find the reasons for this, read the preamble. The preamble has 6 promises it makes to you. And those 6 promises must be kept, or there is no reason for the Constitution. So, people, I want you to understand what I'm asking here is that if you agree with me, support me. If you disagree, also look at me closely and you'll find that you might just want to support me. Then do so. Write your state electoral boards and let them know you want me as your candidate. And then we'll let the political parties do whatever they want. We'll just take care of the country, and they're not going to like it. Have a nice day. This is JD. I hope you understand what I am saying, because I need you. I am just one, only one, but together we are the nation. Thank you. Have a nice day. This is JD.